We are live. This is Impact Money. I'm David Porter, your host, along with Bruce Porter Jr., who is traveling right now. He won't be joining us today unless he tunes in. You know him, he pops up on you. It's the famous question today: where is Bruce? And this is Impact Money Show. Showtime, baby. And big thanks to Fly Mackey with the Smart Money Culture TV network. We are live in Texas and Louisiana. Good morning to everybody there. We'll be looking at the gold markets, the Bitcoin markets, the printing press. We're all about the monetary revolution, and we see that they are printing the US dollar out of control. And we have this new technology, this Bitcoin technology that we're super excited about. We've been working on it for 10 years ourselves, been following it since the beginning. And it's really a special monetary revolution that we're really pushing forward because we're about the freedom of speech, freedom of transferring information, and to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, to have your own mind and your own abilities is what the American Revolution was all about. Now it's good to see information spreading around the world thanks to the internet, our social medias. That's actually how we got started in the Bitcoin space, was building tech on social media communication platforms, and that led into our blockchain ventures. So everybody here that is regularly tuned in or at least seen us a few times knows Bruce Porter Jr. And he's let me show you the background real quick. That was a epic thing that he likes to do, these skits. He recently did the Annie play, and we have that pinned, I believe, on Networks Manager's Twitter. So you can follow us on Twitter. I'm Sir David Porter, Bruce's Networks Manager, and we'll have Matthew Dixon coming on soon with our Market Watch, and he'll give you an in-depth look at the current state of the markets. He's the founder of EVAI.io, and it's an amazing platform. This charting on there gives the analysts that the typical human can't do, of course. So you have the machine run algorithms, and it'll give you a rating system. They use this rating system with A, B, C, D, and with the arrow pointing up or down, it really gives you a nice look as to what could be going on. Let me check out Bruce's Twitter here, see if there's anything going on that's super relevant. Yeah, let's get Matt's link. Maybe it's not texting over. Yeah, let me forward this link. Let's get Matt on the line. Everybody wants Matt here with the best charting I've seen. Really love the show and what he's able to do. Over 40 years experience in the markets. Can't beat it. Sometimes my best idea is to hang out with people that are making lots of money. It's worked well for me. Sometimes someone would ask me, how can you just hang out there? And I'm like, well, you've never experienced the type of wealth hanging out with the right people can bring you. And that's how I learn. I'm constantly learning. I soak in massive amounts of information, and then I'm able to help companies move forward and really benefit from the market movement. So we'll get him on soon. Let's bring him on now. Hello, Matt.
Good morning, David. Where are you right now?
Mr. Dixon, I'm here in Ireland, and it's all right here. It's all right, and we stay up to date on the latest crack, as they say. How are you?
I'm good. How's the weather over there?
It's cold and cloudy. We had a few nice days over the weekend, some sunny days. Not super typical for Ireland, so you could tell everybody's upbeat when it happens. What's up, Bruce?
How's it going, guys?
That's fine. You're looking. That's a nice suit you're wearing.
Yes, we are live here from Charles de Gaulle. Of course, it's always challenging to travel with a wife and 2 kids, right? Not like traveling around with David.
Yeah, I'm easy.
So the markets are really looking nice. All that freshly printed money is doing really well out there.
Yeah, we had PCE come out in line with expectations on Friday, which is the Fed's preferred measure of inflation. So that was actually, I did say beforehand, if it comes out in line, it's going to be positive for the markets, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So we had a good move over the weekend. A little bit of profit taking pullback this morning, but I think things are still looking good. And your favorite asset, commodity, gold, is really pumping today.
Ooh, up over 2%, which is a lot for gold.
It's amazing. Is it up as much as that? Let's just check.
It was about an hour ago. Yeah, up $40, which is about 2%.
Yeah, again, it depends where you're counting from, but I've got it up 0.84%, up $18.
Okay.
But even so,
okay, and maybe some profit taking.
Yeah.
And again, as you always say, it depends on where your hour close and opening starts. So
exactly, we're on GST here, Gulf Standard Time. Obviously, UK is still on GMT, but they're going to move over to BST this weekend, British Summer Time. So they move 1 hour, and then you've got America time, whatever that is.
Whatever that
5
is.
5 a.m. 5 a.m. in Texas.
5 a.m. in Texas, right? 6 a.m. on the East Coast. So, well, I'll tell you what, we have a lot of exciting stuff going on. Of course, things are looking well for the Paris Blockchain Week that's coming up here. I'm obviously traveling a bit, hopping around Europe with the family, but then I kiss them goodbye in about a week and head back to Paris, which is obviously where I'm at right now. So, pretty exciting stuff we have going on. I think that the markets are going to continue to pump. Of course, we do have the iron-clad fist of censorship coming down really across the globe. We have multiple people that are reporting that they have gotten visits from the FBI for Facebook posts and Twitter posts, stuff like that. And this is the type of stuff that we're used to seeing, I guess, in the UK, right? That's where we've heard about a lot of that stuff happening. As well, we have Erdogan. Erdogan lost his election. Can you believe that?
I can't.
In Turkey. I mean, I never thought I'd see the day.
No, that's weird.
Right? That is weird. So the funny thing about that is, of course, it's like I always say, it's always the devil you know. And Turkey's a big country with a lot of people and a lot of influence. So I just hope that the next guy is a good guy and he does good things for the country and good things internationally. They have historically been a very good place for crypto, even despite having some rough laws. The people there love the crypto.
Yeah, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll be looking at that and see what the outlook is or what the prognosis is for Turkey with their new president. That'd be interesting to see.
It will be interesting to see. So I know we have as well, and I'll be on it until we start really the market watch. But I know we have a big show as well with Dave today and tomorrow. Talk to us a little bit about what's going on there.
Yeah, tomorrow's the big day. I mean, in today's show, we'll go through the charts. We'll look at a few things. I'll tell you a few little teasers about what we're expecting tomorrow. Obviously, it's going to be an amazing dish that we're going to we're going to be serving tomorrow with eBay new portfolio building service. And any good dish is all about the ingredients, and so we'll tell you a little bit about what makes up the portfolio building and how it's done, how amazing it is, and it's a groundbreaking technology, something they've been using for many years in traditional assets, but now crypto is maturing. So we'll have a quick look. I'll share my screen if that's okay, and we'll just first of all take a little look at where we are with the ETFs.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as you pull that up, I would just like to, when you talk about the basket of currencies, what he's talking about is being able to use eBay, and I know we'll dig into this a bit more, but to diversify your holdings across different assets, and this is something that's used across different markets quite often. But and then to gain and lose, maybe lose less and gain more, hopefully. Go ahead.
Absolutely, yeah. So, well, actually, I'll probably best go on this screen here. If you can see that, can you see the spot Bitcoin ETF?
Yes.
So these were the figures that came out that were basically issued as of last Friday, so that's March 28th. And we can see the inflows and outflows there. So nearly all big inflows there. BlackRock was obviously the big one with 13.9 billion inflows. And Grayscale Bitcoin GBTC was the big outflow with 14.7 billion outflow. And then the others, made up most of the other inflows. So overall, I think there's been 12.8 billion inflow into Bitcoin in the short time it's been running. So that's pretty amazing. And I do believe that eventually Grayscale, the outflows will eventually, the outflows will stop. They'll reduce the fees when that happens. So obviously at the moment, there's an awful lot of profit taking place because people were able to invest and actually buy Bitcoin at as much as 50% discount in the months preceding the launch of this ETF. So people bought in at massive discounts. So they're actually sitting on massive profits. So Grayscale were able to levy very, very high fees because people were sitting on such high profits. So they've actually still stayed with those fees, the high fees, and people are exiting Grayscale and going into some of the other ETFs. So it's a kind of recycling of a lot of the money from Grayscale into the other ETFs. So, but the important number is that overall, with both the inflows and outflows, there's been about, as I say, $12.8 billion flow into these ETFs, the Bitcoin ETFs. So that's what's helped drive Bitcoin to this new all-time high that we had. And it's dancing around a little bit right now. We will look at those. So what I'll probably do is look at some of the assets as we usually do, and I'll try to bring in how what we're doing with eBay. So tomorrow with eBay, we'll be launching the whole new product launch, which is the portfolio building tool, but also the ratings as well. So we've revamped the ratings, making them much more powerful. And so you'll be able to see by how many places the ratings move on particular assets. And you can actually access this on both hourly and daily basis. And you can look at the portfolio building on hourly and daily, and you can look at it on spot, and you can also look at it for futures. So there's different kind of ratings for the different assets there, but it's actually quite simple to use. And when we run through it tomorrow, you'll see how simple it is to use. Very, very easy to look at the big movers there, where you can look at potentially how to, where to potentially look at buying assets or selling particular assets that are likely to move in a big way. So it's a very, very powerful tool that's built, as I say, on modern portfolio theory. But there's a whole bunch of criteria within crypto that aren't normally used within modern portfolio theory, within looking at efficient frontiers. So we do take into account particular elements of risk on crypto and things that you might not be aware of when you're trading crypto. I'm sure you know this, Bruce and David. When you're looking at cryptos, you might look at particular unlock times or unlock notifications for particular cryptos. So you might think a particular crypto looks amazing, but if you're not aware of a particular unlock, so for example, there might be team tokens that were allocated to the team at outset, but they're locked. So it means they can't be sold on the market. But there might be a particular unlock, maybe 1 year or 2 years in the future. Now, when that time comes...
So important. And so you're including this information?
So all sorts of risk information will be included that we'll take into account. But I'm just giving this as tips as well on how to build your portfolio. There are lots of intricacies within crypto that you need to be aware of and that are different to traditional assets. I mean, within traditional assets, yes, I suppose we're aware of things like scrip issues, where they, basically creating more shares and giving them out and that kind of thing. Within crypto, it's very different in terms of usually most of them have limited supply. So that's one of the big advantages of crypto. But you do have this thing which, you can talk about limited supply, but when you're releasing locked tokens into supply, that's almost like increasing supply. So these are things you must be aware of, and why it's important to follow something like eBay that can give you access to detailed information, changes in the supply and demand characteristics of crypto. So yes, you can drill down and look into all of those things. So just jumping into some of the assets, and we'll go back to eBay. It's going to be, as I say, amazing day tomorrow. But you said it's a positive day. I mean, the S&P futures right now up massively. And this is entirely in line with our expectation. We said we're likely to continue to rise towards this, at least towards this overhead resistance, the red line, and possibly even above that to the sort of parallel channel that we have, the dotted blue line. So we still have higher to go on the S&P 500. So anyone who saw this corrective move down, and we labeled it as corrective, saying to people, when you see choppy movement to the downside, it may be a good time to accumulate because the next move is likely to be to the upside. And that is exactly what's happened. So we'll just jump around various assets. Here's Bitcoin. Again, it looks very corrective, choppy. We had this choppy movement down with overlap downwards, so we expected more movement to the upside. This corrective move may continue a bit more, but we expect after the correction, we're going to continue to the upside. So there's a lot of buy pressure within Bitcoin because of this ETF, but also because of the monetary policies. We saw good numbers, PCE numbers the other day, didn't we? So that means that inflation is still elevated and high, but at least it's not getting worse right now. So that's probably good for risk assets like Bitcoin. So I do expect we're going to see new all-time highs on Bitcoin after we complete this consolidation. Same with Solana. So Solana, we had this kind of corrective move to the side, what we call a triangle possibly here. And then we're going to move again to the upside. Again, we could be consolidating. We saw some profit taking after that rally over the weekend. We saw a really good rally this weekend, moved it up to about 207, somewhere around there, I think it was, or was it 205, somewhere around there. But then we're seeing a bit of profit taking on Solana. But I still think there's plenty of potential for the upside. But what I want to really look at is Litecoin, because this is one that we had labeled for some upside after this corrective move down. We had basically following the triangle. This is one that Bruce and David both follow, and I think they trade quite actively.
Oh, yeah. Easy peasy.
So Litecoin had a beautiful triangle formation. Triangle, as we always say, is a pre-terminal wave, meaning the break from the triangle. It's a continuation pattern. So it always breaks, in this case, from the E wave, it will break to the upside. So whatever direction you come into the triangle, the direction was up into the triangle. It's called a continuation pattern. So the break from the triangle will always be in the direction of the move into the triangle. So in this case, the move was going to be upside. So we knew that following completion of the triangle on the E wave, we're going to get some upside movement. And that upside movement, in this case, because it's an X wave, is going to be in 3 waves to make up the Y wave. And then when that's complete, we'll see some correction, bigger correction probably to the downside. But seeing this, we knew this was a buy because it was a triangle and triangle pre-terminal. We knew the direction of the break because we saw the direction of travel into the triangle. We saw a correction down and then this push up to the upside. It's not a place I would generally look to be buying because we're getting towards the top. We're in no man's land a little bit right now, but I'm just saying that it was a really good buy down here. I think you should probably be looking at protecting some of those profits right now. But Litecoin has been a really good one. It's pumped a lot just last few days. I mean, we've come just from the bottom of this B wave from 77, and we peaked this morning at 112. I mean, what's that?
Litecoin is the right coin.
35, 38%, something like that in just a very short period of time. I mean, we had that B wave low March 24th, and look at it now, we're April the 1st. So April Fool's Day, but there's no fool here. David and Bruce caught this one. They were right on it. So it's entirely possible. We've got here 100% projection would take us to 121 for Litecoin, but it's entirely possible it could project to the Fibonacci extension of 1.618, and that could take us even higher to 147, 148, around that area for Litecoin. So there is potential more upside. I'm just saying protect your positions if you're already in nice profit. Protect your position, but still, maybe with a trailing stop, there's still potential for quite a bit more upside. Oil got a bit of a pump again. There's still a lot of tension going on, what with Russia, Ukraine, China, and there's actually links with Russia and what's going on with Israel and the neighbors around Israel, which are kind of the proxies of Iran, who have been threatening Israel for a long time. That is still set most likely to escalate, probably through Lebanon, through Hezbollah in Lebanon, but also Syria. And I know that Russia are getting very, very uneasy about effectively Israel incursions or bombings into Syria, because Israel sees Syria, attacking Israel, bombing Israel, and so on. So it is sort of heating up. It's bubbling away around there, and Russia are not comfortable with it. So Russia's actually increasing their presence in Syria, and Iran obviously are feeding their proxies round about with Hezbollah and the Houthis in Yemen and people like that. So there's a lot of tension going on. It's not fully priced in, but oil price has been gradually edging up and edging up and edging up. So we're seeing us, we were, when we started doing these shows back in December, the price was well down in the 70s, and now we're well above the 80s, and we seem to be holding above 80s and gradually building higher and higher. So I think gradually the market is possibly pricing in, because there's not been any great change to supply or demand. And so I think this must only be either geopolitical tension or perhaps inflation fears, because when you have inflation, then some commodity prices often do pump in price a bit. So that is happening with gold and with oil. So we see gold, let's just go on to that. It's pulled back just a little bit of profit taking there, but you can see gold has been absolutely amazing to the upside. Again, even gold percentage-wise, it's been really, really good. We had a very clear kind of B-wave pullback, very choppy pullback, but this impulsive move to the upside. So gold is looking very, very solid there. And here's dollar index. Again, dollar index, we've been talking about this overhead resistance. If it breaks the overhead resistance and stays above it, then it's going to be quite positive dollar index, quite positive dollar. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing now we broke above it, a little bit of consolidation sideways, and now we appear to be pushing up a little bit. And in general, a stronger dollar is not necessarily good for crypto. But if we were to scroll out, and I think it's on this chart, let's just see. Yeah. If we were to scroll out, we can begin to see, in fact, I'll go on to weekly. We can begin to see that there is actually, it's not always a negative correlation with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, believe it or not, sometimes strengthened when dollar has strengthened. So even if we see a bit stronger dollar short term, it's not necessarily always negative for Bitcoin. But what we have noticed is, and in previous shows we've noticed, that when there's a turn in the dollar, or to the upside or the downside, when there's a turn, that is usually a major turning point for crypto. So we see big turning points here for crypto with Bitcoin when it was down at $864. We saw the dollar index fall, and we saw Bitcoin then exploded higher to $20,000. And then from 20,000, we then moved, when dollar moved up, we moved all the way down again to $3,800. That was the COVID low for Bitcoin. And then basically we saw dollar weaken, and we saw Bitcoin then strengthen to 28,600. So you can see in general, just the general rule is that when a dollar appreciates, then you tend to see Bitcoin depreciating. So they do tend to move in opposite directions. So then again, when you saw dollar appreciating here, you saw Bitcoin falling from 28.6 down to the FTX low of 15.5. And then we saw a dollar turn again. So what I'm saying is, watch the dollar. Whatever you do, watch the big turns in the dollar. Now, right now, we're right in the middle of what this big sideways consolidation. So it's really difficult to know exactly where things are going. We're not at a major turning point. So I doubt right now that this is a major turning point for Bitcoin or for crypto, because the big turning points are top or bottom. You can see that over and over and over again. With Bitcoin, the turning points are when dollar is top or bottom. Right now, we're bang in the middle of the consolidation. So I don't think we're looking for any major moves. So I think that the likelihood is that Bitcoin will continue to push higher in general and will push to new all-time highs. And I think we're going to see quite possibly a new all-time high coming for Solana as well. So Solana seems to be the retail favorite for the time being. It's that token which, when you look at tokens like Bitcoin, if you invested $1,000 5 years ago, you'd now have about $10,000. But Solana, if you invested at outset in Solana, you'd now have $195,000, because it's basically when it's back at a dollar, it's now $195. That's 195x. So basically, $1,000 would now be $195,000. $10,000 would be 1.95, almost 2 million. So just $10,000. So this just shows why it's really important to potentially pick out some of these assets, which gradually brings me round back again to eBay, because eBay is a technology which can help you build portfolios, not just of the big major assets, but also it can include some of the newer assets that have the right metrics, some of the big movers. So again, we'll go into this in detail, but when you see a big move in one of the ratings, it might be a sign there's a big move afoot in the cryptocurrency. So if you can identify some of those, what we call outliers, some of the newer tokens that are very low priced, you could potentially, obviously you don't put all your eggs in one basket, and that's what portfolio building is all about. It's all about having the right ingredients. But the ingredients can be the major things, like if you're making a cake. I'm not a cake maker, but I think most of the ingredients are eggs and flour and butter. They're the big ingredients. But I think you put a pinch of salt or baking powder or something like that, a small pinch. Now, this is what makes the cake really rise and gives it the mass. You know, if you don't have it, the cake is absolutely flat. But to rise, it's those little ingredients that really matter. And that can be the same thing with the portfolio, that you can liken the portfolio ingredients. You can have the big assets like the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, or whatever. And what the portfolio tool does is actually identify the right assets to group together to manage your risk properly. So to minimize the risk, to give you the best possible return, but also it can include some of those minute ingredients that can really pump massively and give you the sort of the rise on the cake. So some of those newer assets, the real big movers, the outliers as we call them, you can include some of those as small ingredients, and you can use your portfolio tool to do that and put those in. And you could get the next Solana, you know, as we said, $1,000 to $195 or $10,000 to 1.95 million. This is life changing, and this is technology which has been built over many, many years, using the very latest in technology, AI technology and adaptive computing. So just to tell you a little bit about it, when you build a portfolio, you're looking at thousands of assets here. Potentially, there's 20,000 odd crypto assets. So you're looking at an awful lot of assets, and you're looking at an infinite combination of proportions of those assets. So it's actually infinite calculations. And so you have to use some very specialist AI techniques and adaptive computing techniques, which weren't available just a few years ago. But now we've harnessed those techniques, cutting edge techniques, to be able to build what's called an efficient portfolio. And when we say an efficient portfolio, there's actually a theoretical perfect portfolio that you can hold, which doesn't mean you'll necessarily make any particular amount in the future. But what it does mean is you're getting the best returns for a quantifiable level of risk that you take. So rather than the normal way, people just choose tokens that they guess might be the right tokens. They guess on the proportion they should hold within the portfolio. Well, now you've got a scientific way to do it properly, to get the best returns. So that is really what eBay are giving. So the eBay ratings will be available for free, and it's a very, very powerful tool that anybody can access this for free. And then the portfolio building tools are a paid tool that you can access, but again, very, very powerful to help you build the most efficient theoretical portfolio that's possible. So that's just a little bit of a teaser as what's going to be available. And look forward to sharing more details, actually showcasing that. So it's actually going live tomorrow. We're actually rolling out to the world tomorrow. And we've got a big institutional collaboration, which is taking place later this week, which gives us access to over 3 million active users who'll be able to access, and will have access on a daily basis to these eBay tools. That's just the first of our institutional collaborations. There's going to be many, many more. So we believe this is going to be the go-to destination for anyone who wants to be empowered with their crypto trading, to get powerful information. So this is going to be institutional grade information in the hands of retail users, to empower retail users to get the best out of their portfolios.
Awesome. Yeah, it's pretty amazing what it can do. The amount of information it'll absorb and regurgitate for you in a nice, easy to read charting with a rating system and indicators. I mean, it's really amazing. AI, it's humans' best friend.
And AI, AI. This is I think we'll focus a lot on AI this week, because AI is just really taking over. I think humans are we're all going to be plugged into AI. I hate to tell everybody, but probably within the decade. And this is really propelling the space forward a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about AI is, obviously, I mean, I always used to go back to the thing about where, I think it was 1998, this was it, Garry Kasparov, the chess champion, the world chess champion. They built an AI computer. I think it's called Deep Blue. It's the IBM built, I think. Was it IBM? I think it was. And they built, I think it was IBM. I'd have to check on that. But anyway, they built the first AI computer that was able to beat Garry Kasparov, the world chess champion, back in 1998. That's now 26 years ago. So the technology could beat the best human brain possible on a defined task like playing chess. But in 26 years worth of development, it's become so much more powerful now. So it doesn't just focus on individual tasks. It can do complex things like, I mean, portfolio building is actually quite a complex task, because there are, if you look at the combinations, actually the percentages of each asset, but also the number of assets, there's more combinations than there are atoms in the universe. And so you need really specialist computing techniques to be able to actually compute that properly and come up with the right answers. And the AI can sort of back test itself or test itself and say, did it come up with the right answer? And what it does, it actually reevaluates over and over again to get the best possible answer. And that's not the way human centralized things work. If you have a bunch of humans, experts, portfolio managers, maybe 10, even if you had 100 people in the room deliberating over all these assets and trying to work out which is the best one, you can't do it in real time. It's just not possible. But with the computing power we have available today through adaptive computing and artificial intelligence, we can actually bring this out virtually. In fact, it is real time. We just deliver it on either an hourly or a daily basis to make it usable for people, because people can't.
It really is amazing. And we had a question come in on what platforms will eBay be on. Actually, eBay is already on PancakeSwap at the moment, so you can get it. Sean is we're like, I don't know, we've been friends for 30 years. We're getting old now, so we're high school buddies. He's there on LinkedIn. What will eBay be on? And I want to circle back to that in a second. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about just even these quantum computers and everything coming out, because I'll tell you, I was reading this quantum computer that Google has built. And if they're telling everybody that this is the quantum computer that they've built, believe me, that the actual quantum computer that they've built that is the highest level is way past where this one is, okay? And this quantum computer is able to do the same amount of calculations that would take a normal supercomputer 47 years to do, and it's able to do it basically instantly. So it's something that's these quantum computers and this computing that's coming out is absolutely it is life changing. And this is another reason why I keep saying that it keeps going faster and faster and faster. I'm gonna have this go, but I'll let you guys take it.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing the way technology has gone, and that's actually one of the risks potentially for some cryptocurrencies. Quantum computing, not yet, but maybe at some point in the future, could potentially break the encryption. And so there are even new cryptocurrencies being developed at the moment that are quantum safe. So there are a number of cryptocurrencies. So that's just another area. When we look at risk, these are things that we will be looking into as time goes on. Quantum computing can actually be, because it is so powerful, it can even crack encryption. So don't just think about it as a risk for cryptocurrency. It's also a risk for traditional banking, traditional systems. So there are big, big changes coming to the world. And the reason I love crypto is because it is such an innovative space that they're already building basically quantum safe cryptocurrencies that are actually safe, that can't be cracked even using quantum computing. And so that's why it's important to keep up to speed with it all, because if you're in traditional methods and ways of doing things, you will get left behind, and quantum computing has the power to crack all of the codes. Coding will just be completely different if this quantum computing actually comes out mainstream. It's going to be amazing.
It's really something else. It's not far off. I mean, really, we're only a hacker or two away from putting a quantum computer together, and then we go from there. I got the mics in them.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, I was just jumping around back into the assets again. There's a couple again that I wanted to touch on. I don't know, we're running out of time, aren't we? Yeah, but I just wanted to look at some of the big names.
We have a few minutes, please. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, let's dive in.
Okay, well, I'll just need to probably reshare them to look at some of these, because there's been some interesting ones. There's ADA, for example. I'm sure most people know about ADA or Cardano.
Cardano, with the great Charles Hoskinson, who is the founder of that. Charles Hoskinson was one of the founders of Ethereum. So when you want to know, a lot of people say, and they do have a great community behind it. You cannot discount that community. There's a big community behind Cardano. $ADA. ADA is what it trades under. Yeah,
so it's been a big one actually in Dubai. There's been a lot of interest here. A lot of
Charles has been coming to Dubai for a long time. That's where I met him. I interviewed him like 6 years ago for the first time there in Dubai. Oh, sorry, that was Singapore, but I've seen him in Dubai as well.
Yeah. So Cardano, the reason I'm just wanting to touch on it, it's actually quite an interesting one, because we had this very clear impulsive move to the upside. So I suppose I could label it very quickly just to show you the sort of rough count from here. I mean, if you count that big numbers so you can see them, basically wave 1, wave 2, and just throw it in there, wave 3, and then, so the reason this is important, we actually got a triangle wave 4, which is actually, I absolutely love this wave 4, and then a wave 5 here. I just put the wave 5 at the top. Now in Elliott wave terms, 5 waves are a completed impulsive cycle. Then you get this choppy movement to the downside, where you can see here, for example, this wave here overlaps this spike down here. There's an awful lot of overlap here. It's choppy, so it's not like this where you get clear waves which aren't overlapping. This is choppy, overlapping movement to the downside. So what that tells me is that this is potentially, around these sort of areas down here, a really good buy opportunity. And again, we're not financial advisors. We're not telling people that they must be buying these assets, or they shouldn't necessarily be buying these assets. But I just want to show that because it's a corrective move to the downside, let's put that over here. Because it's a corrective move to the downside, then means that the price should go back above this previous high here. which was much, much higher, way higher than we are now. So potentially we've still got a long way to go in this bull run. So what we're talking about with eBay, but with all of these assets, is preparing yourself for the bull run, because I still think that this year being election year, they're going to do all in their power to keep the markets looking buoyant, because that's one of these sort of unheard of. It is actually one of the Fed mandates, is actually to maintain stability within the markets. But we're not just talking about stability here, we're talking about keeping the markets buoyant this election year. So I do think, barring anything geopolitical, which I mentioned in around Israel or Russia or China, barring any trouble from there, I think they're going to maintain this support and liquidity for the market, which means the market should be headed quite a bit higher. So if you looked at Solana, for example, the current price of 63 cents and the previous high here of over $3, you're looking potentially at 5x. Bear in mind, this is a logarithmic scale here. So you're looking at potentially around 5x. So there's a lot of upside, and I do think it's going to be supported very much by this continued flow into Bitcoin. I hear that the Ethereum ETF may be delayed, but who knows, that could change. There's supposedly now only a 25% chance that we're going to get an Ethereum ETF this year. And that's because of Gary Gensler and the SEC and talking about whether it's a security, etc. But who knows? Everyone's getting sick of Gary, so who knows what's
right. I know. It's a wild card. I feel like they might hold off on Ethereum for a while longer and just let the Bitcoin really run it this
year. Yeah, initially they were talking about May. Sorry, Bruce, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Gary, he's like really, he's one of the most famous guys in finance right now, right? And for what? For what? What has this guy ever done for us?
We never got back, by the way. We never discussed, did we, the other day? I can't remember if we did or not, about the sentence for our friend SBF, or maybe not.
So yeah, we didn't get back to it. You're absolutely correct. So we got 25 here, but as you saw, it was interesting, the comments, because of course I was using our App Money, Impact Money Show account, and I said, yeah, but half it, and then it'll be this and that, and time served 5 years. They said, bookmark this. And you see some of the other people that responded, they said, no, that's just for state crimes, not federal. But still, I tell you, 5-6 years, I think he's out. Time served, good behavior, you know, blah 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 blah. And
I mean,
billions and billions of dollars.
What he did was terrible, but as I say, it was you know, we had 2008. Nobody went to jail over 2008, and there was absolute crystal clear corruption. Ratings agencies to jail.
With Enron, you're saying, or was that 2008?
No, with the 2008 financial crisis, with the ratings. Not Enron. I mean, I think Enron people did go to jail, didn't they?
They did. Yep. Not for long, but yes.
Yeah, so the financial crisis, which almost crashed the whole financial system, nobody went to jail. Just looping back again to ADA, Cardano here, what was really interesting was we had this previous high following the launch of ADA, which took us to $1.39. Then we got the pullback, which was basically some kind of WXY pullback. And then we know it's impulsive. It took us to new all-time highs, considerable new all-time highs above that 139 or 137, whatever it was, right up to $3 plus. But it was in that very clear 5 waves. So that's really good, because it does tell us that this is an impulsive move. Impulsive is in the direction of the trend. This is corrective to the downside, which is against the direction of the overall trend. So you would expect the upside move to be actually to new all-time highs on ADA, and probably very substantial new all-time highs, could be massive new all-time highs. So I think that the outlook for ADA, in fact, I'm going to be posting this on X because it is really exciting. There's a lot of upside potentially there. And again, there's no guarantees, and manage your risk reward as you should do, and actually diversify your assets and dollar cost average and all of those sensible, do your own due diligence. But even so, build the right portfolio, especially using the eBay tools, which will be launched tomorrow. And potentially the sky's the limit. And you should definitely be including crypto assets within a small part of your portfolio at least, because they are, as you say, technologically, they are the future. especially with the likes of quantum computing coming in. So the things that we saw, that we've seen, it's so often it's the case, isn't it, that science fiction films, things like Star Trek, all the things you saw on Star Trek many years ago, not all the things, but a lot of things came to reality, like the communicator.
Yeah, it's like Dad always used to tell me, he's not the first one to say it, but whatever your mind can conceive, you can achieve, and it's true. If you haven't figured out that by now, it's something else, because everything that we can think of and dream of, we will one day do.
Yeah, and you saw the robotic things that, robots are in the very, very early stages right now. But again, you see things like, iRobot and films like that, even Terminator, just shows we've got to be careful with the power that we're developing. But yeah, all these things can potentially happen. So we do need to be careful, because these are so, so powerful tools.
Agreed.
Yeah,
we have to use them for good.
Yeah, but it's the same with nuclear power. I think that was originally conceived actually potentially for our benefit. For it is an amazing source of power. That's nuclear fission. But we've seen since with nuclear bombs, with what's happened there, and the terrible destructive power of nuclear bombs, and yet nuclear power was originally conceived for good, as far as I'm aware. And again, with nuclear fusion, again, it's just amazing. It would solve all of the world's energy problems. Not that we necessarily have any right now, because we seem to be have plenty of oil supply and plenty of renewables. But if we had nuclear fusion, that would absolutely end any concerns. And the thing is, with nuclear fusion, there's not even any radioactive, leftovers or anything of that sort. No contamination of any sort. So technology is really, we're in an age, it's an exciting age to be part of, in so many different ways, medically. So even the medical breakthroughs, I mean, it's good to share some of these things on this show, all the breakthroughs that we're having. The sort of the mRNA vaccines. I mean, I know a lot of us are against, and even I was personally against the COVID vaccines and just being forced to take a vaccine when they weren't properly tested. But in general, mRNA vaccines are safe. They don't integrate with the DNA within the cell. They can be used to treat potentially cancer, to treat allergies, to treat, even to regrow organs, that kind of thing. There's so much potential, and this is all happening.
Yeah, there is no doubt about the potential. It's a very dicey subject, of course, because people didn't want to get injected with this, and maybe they want some more testing and this and that. But that delivery system of the mRNA is very, very interesting, what they're doing with that. And of course, yes, it's regrowing of or being able to grow our organs. I mean, we're talking about indefinite life extension here is going to be a reality. It's probably within years for the ultra rich, decades for everybody else.
Yeah, so you want to be among the ultra rich, so you need to get into crypto.
That's right. Buy and hodl. Buy and hodl.
No, seriously.
I can't wait for this eBay.
Yeah, we're living in a world now where anyone who's alive and basically anyone who's alive can potentially benefit from these technological breakthroughs. And as I say, it's in so many different areas, whether it's energy, whether it's health, whether it's money, virtually every area you look at, even entertainment. I mean, you look at virtual reality and all that kind of stuff. Even treatment of things like diabetes, because obviously there'll be more couch potatoes if we have more technology for gaming and that kind of thing. But all of these diseases can be treated, very, very close to overcoming, to conquering these regular diseases. I mean, cancer, just imagine being able to conquer cancer through the technology. Phenomenal.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely, it is really interesting. I'm going to be taking off here in just a second here. I did want to mention our friends Shibwifat. Our friends there, they look to be consolidating, and I think that the team behind this is really good. The team is very, very important on a lot of these different tokens. You look at it, some of the ones we've been talking about today. if the team is behind it and they're continuing to work, then this is a very good signal for you guys. So I did want to mention them. They've been a big supporter of the show, and I know some of them are watching. And we love these guys, and we love their community for sure.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of the meme coins, as we said, they're highly volatile. So today, for example, we can see where are we? I mean, Bonk is down 7%. I mean, it's up and down 7-10% almost every day. So as a trader, traders love volatility. So for a trader, there's some amazing opportunities within these memes. But the thing is, they're not altogether useless. They start off, a lot of them, as nothing, with nothing behind them. But they often actually build something and become something useful, like Doge.
Right.
It's built
absolutely. And of course, you look at Cake, and that's not a new point. So one of the things that Shibatas is trying to do is that they're building a pancake swap type setup for Solana. So that's one of the things that they're trying to bring. But you look at like some of the other meme coins as well, Floki and some of the other ones. I mean, these are really moving into really monetary assets. Where you can hold, you can go, you can buy, you can do these things. Quite interesting. But yeah, you mentioned Doggy. I mean, wow, right? Up another 10% or 22%, right? Or 22 cents, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can look for those big movers, the outliers with the crypto rating. So some of the tokens, they're not all in there at the moment, but there's a lot of tokens there that you can trade. And just as I say, looking at those memes, you can see Bonk is down 7%, but then you got Boom, which is Book of Memes, which is up 6%. So you can, as a trader, you can actually trade between these assets very, very effectively. Plenty of opportunities for profit, but also to get involved with assets that have real innovation and potential to do things in the future. I mean, to build you said they're building some kind of Solana DEX. Well, that'd be really interesting. There's already some out there, but if they've got some innovative aspects to it, again, amazing. So I see Solana's back up at 196. It's been volatile again. Trading opportunities everywhere. So Solana, just looking at today alone, if we just looked at today, well, if I looked at the 1 day, we can see the price action over 1 day. Yeah, it's high of 204, low of 193. So that is 11. So that is 6.5%. So 6.5% movement in 1 day. And the outlook for Solana is very, very bright. So again, on a daily basis, there's tremendous opportunities and tremendous opportunity to get involved with some very, very exciting assets. So I look forward to tomorrow, Bruce. I think we're near the end, but we'll share all the details. We're going to offer we'll offer free access to the portfolio tools for a limited period of time, or free or next to free, whether it's 1 cent or 10 cents or something. And we'll offer the ratings products absolutely for free. So this can really empower you, help you. If you want to get involved in crypto buying and selling or whatever, it can help you make informed decisions.
Amazing. Well, another great show, guys. Thanks for bearing with me as I'm traveling. I should be in a safe place tomorrow for the show. I am signing off. Cheers.
Awesome.
Great work.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you. We will see you guys soon. Stay tuned and you'll stay lucrative.
Great.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.
It's an amazing community, and I talk about it around the world, and I'll say it again now, guys. We are the most powerful community in the world. Thank you, Bruce.
What we have here is a monetary revolution, and it's a peaceful revolution.
And it's not just crypto, but
everything.
Where if we don't free ourselves with a decentralized, permissionless blockchain, they're going to imprison us with a centralized, permissioned one. We have to do something. And if we don't do something, they're doing things. But we're saying, oh, we're going to hodl. We got to give some of those things we're hodling to the politicians so they like us.
And it's been going on for over a decade
I want to
now.
build a future we're all inspired to live in. That we understand the impact that we have on our planet and make sure that that's part of how we cost things on the immutable ledger of the blockchain. Blockchain is a way we make the world we want to live in accountable to the future generations that are right now going to be dependent on us making sure this planet's around for them to enjoy. And it's not so much the things that we can do with it that we need to be talking about right now. What we need to be talking about is the hard questions about what should we be doing with it. How do we solve human trafficking and human slavery with the blockchain? How is it that we are able to give ourselves as humans détente against the next generation of AI? One of the things that we're committed to is built into our fee structure is a philanthropy plank. We want to be giving back to giving organizations that have the resources to be self-sustaining and building additional resources to give back, because that's the kind of economy that's going to make a difference in the future. It's not one that's always extracting value. It's one that's always adding value. It's real easy to get up here and say these words and say, let's do this. It's the people that can actually execute and that really believe in people and in planet and doing this for purpose. Those are the people we want to partner with. It's how we get to make a difference. But that's one of the ways where I got to know Bruce and how he's committed to making a difference. And there's a number of charities he gives to. Talk to Bruce and talk about what he's doing, and let's keep making a difference. That's what we're all about. Thanks.